I have a series on my channel called Funeral Home Foolery. This has nothing to do with funeral homes, but there was a story in there that was very similar about these dead babies. I'll say it like that. Hopefully, I'll give you a disclaimer here in a second. But basically, they were being hidden inside of a funeral home. And I always thought that was like the strangest thing. It was a disgusting thing. One of those stories actually went viral. So, it was an interesting thing to talk about at that time. And, there's something even sicker about this because this is a person doing this to their own flesh and blood. So if y'all read the title, then y'all know we're about to get knee deep in this, okay? So get ready. Let's get it.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
And we are going to be reading from the nypost.com. So thank you very much for the article. What's up, Tina? What's up, GAB? What's up, Lime? What's up, guys? A Pennsylvania woman has been charged after police discovered the remains. And initially, they found human remains. They thought it was 3, but they ended up finding 4 sets of human remains. Little babies, little dead babies. Okay? Let me give you guys I think I gave you enough of a disclaimer. So we're going to get into some pretty intimate details that might disturb you. This material may be harmful or traumatizing. Viewer discretion is advised. So there you go. Yes, they found 4 dead baby bodies. And this woman had these babies, I'm assuming, by this man. And this man, we understand from what I read, is in jail. So I'm going to say allegedly in jail. This is allegedly the father. That's allegedly the mother, right? They discovered the remains of her 4 infants in the closet and attic of a home she had been evicted from last month. So if they hadn't evicted her, they might have never have found this. How disgusting is that? And so you found some in the attic, some in a closet. And could you imagine what that place smells like? Do y'all know? Or maybe you don't know from personal experience. But have y'all ever heard somebody describe what death smells like? So I want y'all to imagine what death smells like, whether it be a little baby or a bigger human being. It is an incredibly powerful smell that you cannot shake, you cannot get away from, and it is unmistakable. And you had 4 of those deceased bodies in your alleged house that you were renting or whatever. You got evicted, so you're renting. This fool's name, let me get her face up on the screen so y'all can see this clown. If y'all want to put your clown emojis up here in the chat, that would be awesome. This individual's name is Jessica Marie Mothy, Mauthe. They said Mothy on the news broadcast, so I'm going to say Mothy. So if your mama called you Clay, I'm going to call you Clay, okay? 39 years old, allegedly. This woman looks a hell of a lot older than 39 and was arrested after her former landlord, which was that guy on the right-hand side. That's her landlord. Called police to the home she had lived in outside Ford City, about 40 miles northeast of Pittsburgh. The landlord, Brett Flanagan, told the news that he had a law enforcement evict Mothy for non-payment on August the 14th. After he began cleaning the house, he came across a trash bag in a closet that had a foul odor and something wrapped in towels that was decomposing. And that's according to the arrest affidavit that was issued on Thursday. Now, investigators searched the home and they found the bodies of 3 other infants in an attic in totes. So let me put that picture up on the screen so y'all can see this. Because this might be an AI picture. I don't really know, but it looked like it was actually a real pictures. So it's kind of hard nowadays to tell what's real and what's not. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys this. Can you guys see that on my screen? Can everybody see this? You might have to up your resolution so you can see it properly. Bump it up. Bump it up. Those totes up there. Could you imagine what a dirty bitch, a horrible individual. And then I want you guys to also understand this. These are not the only kids that are alive that she has. I think she has 2 other kids. And one would have to ask, what is my famous hashtag? Does anybody want to type it in the chat? I don't know if you guys know it or not. One of my favorite hashtags is hashtag babies for benefits. So you're talking about potentially somebody laying up in this nasty woman who probably couldn't possibly wash herself properly, right? Smells probably as bad as she looks. Smells about as bad as that house looks. Do you guys remember the Kelly Marie Bryant story? Let me see if I can bring up her picture real quick, because this is actually kind of similar, except I think this is actually a bit worse because now you actually have dead human beings as opposed to the kids that might not have survived. So let me see. Kelly Marie Bryant. It was right there. I'm going to see if I can bring this up and show y'all real quick without being too disgusting. Because this story is definitely disgusting. Let me see. Let me bring this up on the screen real quick. We're doing this live. Do y'all remember this story right here? Y'all remember this nasty situation, this nasty broad here, right? Well, to me, these situations have a lot in common. So this woman didn't necessarily abandon kids, but something happened to 4 of them. And I'm just going to assume she just don't look like the brightest crayon in the box, the brightest light bulb screwed into the ceiling. I wouldn't put it past her that she might have ended these little babies' lives. And here's what I don't understand. For people who do not want children, why do you continue to produce them? The people who have the most abortions don't want kids. The people who have the most abortions is broke people. So why are they having the most irresponsible, uncomprehensive sex, right? They've been making condoms for a long time. Matter of fact, if you didn't know, more times than none, unless they've changed it, you should be able to go up to the health department and get you a couple of condoms if you don't have none. If they don't do that anymore, maybe that was old school in my day or something, I don't know. But maybe you just shouldn't be having sex. And then on top of that, and I said on top of that, look at this. Like, who would want to sleep with somebody who is this effing disgusting? I don't understand that. Like, she's literally making my eyes fog up just looking at her picture. Investigators searched the home and found the bodies of 3 other infants in the attic in tote bags, wrapped in towels and inside plastic bags because she was probably trying to subdue the inevitable smell. Flat out disgusting. Thank you, Babies for Benefits. Thank you for typing that in there. Let's see. So a neighbor spoke. I think I can skip what the neighbor said. So about a year ago, Mothy told investigators, so this fool told investigators she gave birth to a child who made several noises before she held the child against her, where it remained until it stopped making noises and stopped breathing. That's what she said, according to this report. She held the child against her where it remained until it stopped making noises and stopped breathing. You had 4, maybe 6 of them. Like, can't they at least identify as a girl or a boy, or no, we're not going to do that? It's insignificant, I guess. That sounds like that might have been on purpose, but maybe that's just my dark thinking. Maybe there's some of y'all out there that maybe think that I'm a little bit too harsh. Y'all say she looks like Shrek. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm damn sure not going to disagree with you, right? How many of y'all in the chat believe that she might have actually just ended these children's lives, these little babies' lives? Because I do. Come on, the likelihood. 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. So Mothy, this alleged mother, told the troopers that one newborn had whimpered after she gave birth to it about 6 years ago, after which she passed out on the floor, according to the affidavit. When she awakened, the baby was beneath her and not breathing. Really? So this woman never goes to the hospital, just perpetually stays pregnant, never goes to the hospital, never gets prenatal care, never gets a checkup. Nobody notices, nobody says anything. See something, say something, I guess, does not apply. So maybe even in this sense, with her baby dad or boyfriend, whatever he is, husband, whatever he is, being in jail, you would think that maybe he would also be held accountable, because if you think about each of these kids, unless they were born as twins or triplets or something, which I don't think they were, I think these were 4 separate pregnancies. He would have had to have known something which would make him an accomplice to this also, if you guys catch what I'm saying. Oh, man. She was charged with criminal homicide, involuntary manslaughter with multiple counts of abuse of a corpse. She's being held in the Armstrong County Jail with no bail. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for next week. So this article was written on September 23rd. So that puts about 5 days, depending on when you're watching this, going forward. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like next Tuesday, that'd be like September the 30th, depending on when you're watching this. Let me let you guys take a look at the news videos. I really got a lot to say about this. Like, I feel like I just be repeating myself a lot of times. But here we go. Thank you, whoever donated. I appreciate that. Here we go. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
If you guys would do me a favor, AFC, if y'all are listening, do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up. Smash that thumbs up. Super simple thing to do. I see you guys typing in the chat. Bring some more people in here. Let's take a look at these news videos. Let's get it. Let's go.
How could anybody do that and get away with it and live with their kids?
It's been more than a week since state police arrested an Armstrong County mother after allegedly finding the bodies of 4 babies inside her home. State police say their investigation began when she was evicted and her landlord found something unsettling. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Josh Taylor in for Ken Rice. Tonight, that landlord is speaking out about that disturbing discovery. KDKA's Jennifer Barrasso has been digging into the case since the beginning and has the story you'll see only on KDKA.
Yeah, and a KDKA exclusive, Jessica Mothy's landlord took us inside the home and showed us where his worker found a suspicious bag in a bedroom closet. Both of them asking tonight, why would a mom of 2 do this? What led you to this closet?
So my guy David here, he was working. He said there was a bag there that smelled bad. He drug it out to the steps here. We brought it outside. Just started opening up the bags. And
Was it hidden under anything?
no, just a lot of garbage. About 4 or 5 garbage bags.
What were you expecting when you saw that?
Nothing good.
Inside this home on Oak Avenue in Cadogan, Armstrong County, landlord Brent Flanagan exclusively showed KDKA the bedroom closet where a dead infant was found wrapped in towels and garbage bags. He says his worker, Jesus Martins, was cleaning up when he noticed something suspicious on the floor under a blanket and a horrible smell. And can you describe the smell?
Just decay, nasty. It was overwhelming. Whenever we moved the bag, it was just overwhelming, overpowering. You know, so that's why we took it outside and we opened it up. And
he used a knife to cut through thick garbage bags, and then there were towels and a baby's decayed body.
I thought it was a baby.
I can't imagine what you thought at that point.
I'm just glad it didn't get overlooked. That way, you know, she's going to end up in jail where she belongs.
Flanagan called police and the case busted open. KDKA first reported state police found 3 more dead babies. Sources tell me in totes in the attic. Police say Mothy admitted to giving birth to some of the babies. They say she grew up in this home and assumed the lease after her dad died. She was living here with her 2 young boys. Her husband is in jail, and she was working as a cook at a nearby restaurant about 50 hours a week.
Crazy. It's crazy. Somebody still had to have known, right?
That's what you believe, that it was just hard to...
Yeah, how do you get pregnant 4 times and nobody noticed it?
Flanagan says she didn't seem to care when he evicted her after about a year of not paying rent.
Usually a church or charity or somebody would pay her rent. And then apparently she just burned every bridge and nobody would pay her rent anymore. 4 times and nobody...
is in jail, and she was working as a cook at a nearby restaurant about 50 hours a week.
Crazy. It's crazy. Somebody still had to have known, right?
That's what you believe, that it was just hard to...
Yeah, how do you get pregnant 4 times and nobody noticed it?
Flanagan says she didn't seem to care when he evicted her after about a year of not paying rent.
Okay, I have a question. I ain't the brightest crayon in the box, but I have a question. So for this landlord, look, man, I get maybe he was trying to be nice or whatever, but hell, in most apartments, if you don't pay rent for 1 month, they be on your behind for you to get that payment in before the next one drops, so that way that you're not 2 months in the hole before the second month starts. They're usually already doing eviction proceedings by that point. Right? I want y'all to understand that she didn't pay rent for a year. And she allegedly was working 50 hours a week at some freaking, wherever the hell, some damn country fucking, I don't know. Excuse my language. She's working at some business, some place, some restaurant or whatever, working 50 hours a week. The average person works 40 hours a week. So I want y'all to think about this. I don't know what the minimum wage is. What is the minimum wage in Pennsylvania? Let's look it up. Just for shits and giggles. What is the minimum wage in Pennsylvania? Wow, $7.25? Sheesh. Okay, so we're talking about wages. Yeah, I just found it. We're talking about wages like when I was a freaking, I don't know, in my early 20s? I'm in my early 40s now. A country bumpkin restaurant. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't want to say it, but I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and say it. What date and what year did this happen? This is a brand new story within 3 days. So this week. And I want you guys to notice that most of the stories that I do are almost always current stories. These aren't stories I'm doing from 3, 4, 5 years ago. All my stories that I talk about on my channel are generally the same week, the same month, but definitely the same year. Unless we're doing an update. So yes, this just happened. Think about this. Even if you were making $7.25, let's do the math real quick. What's $7.25 by 50 hours a week? 7.25, 7.25 by 50 by 2 weeks. So that's $362 before tax a week. And if she's a bad person like I think she is, she might not be claiming any, she might be claiming all of the exemptions on her taxes. So let's just say she gets all of that, $365. Multiply that by 2 weeks, $725 by the month. That'd be $1,400. Not a lot of money, not a lot of money. But I want y'all to remember, she has not paid any rent, according to her landlord, in a year. That is probably 75% of what most people have to pay for their monthly bills is their rent or their mortgage. Am I right or wrong about that? You haven't paid it at all. So you're getting basically, what are you doing with this $1,400 every month? Probably getting food stamps, I'm assuming, for having other kids. So I'm just saying, it's kind of hard to feel bad for somebody who's working all those hours, probably not paying any taxes, and not paying any rent. The most she probably has to do is pay for transportation, food, and electric. $1,400 will get that done per month. So it's kind of hard to feel sorry for her, right? Paying no rent, zero rent. Let's go.
Usually a church or charity or somebody would pay her rent. And then apparently she just burned every bridge and nobody would pay her rent anymore.
Y'all catch that? I'm going to need you to say that again, sir.
Flanagan says she didn't seem to care when he evicted her after about a year of not paying rent.
Usually a church or charity or somebody would pay her rent. And then apparently she just burned every bridge and nobody would pay her rent anymore.
So usually a charity would pay the rent for her. So that means prior to this year, let's just give her another 12 more months. Now you're talking about 24 months of this bitch not paying rent at all. And on top of that, she's such a horrible person. This man actually confirmed that these places said, you know what, we're not going to help you anymore just because you're not a good person. When he says that she burned her bridges, that usually means that you gave somebody your behind to kiss. That means you bit the hand that feeds you, right? Right or wrong? She burned bridges. So you know how they say beggars should not be choosers, right? I think that people who need things, who are asking for help, begging for help, should be the nicest people, should have a smile on their face, should be jovial, and not turn around and be talking crap to somebody knowing that you need help. And I actually know somebody, and I'm not going to call them out, but there's actually somebody that me and some of my friends know that actually is putting somebody in a position to where they're being very mean to them, but asking for their help at the same time. I think that makes for a horrible human being. And I think that people like that, you got to put them out on their ass. Put them out on the street, kick them out. And in this case, this woman is probably going to end up getting, I don't know. I mean, how much time should she get in prison? She should get a lot of time in prison. 4 dead babies. Multiply that 10 years apiece. That's about 40 years in prison. She's about what? In her 30s? She'll be about 75 by the time she gets out. That'd be about right. This man says she burned every bridge. Every bridge? Every bridge.
Flanagan says she didn't seem to care when he evicted her after about a year of not paying rent.
Usually a church or charity or somebody would pay her rent. And then apparently she just burned every bridge and nobody would pay her rent anymore, and I had to get her out.
The mom left behind 3 cats and her belongings when she was arrested. Looking back, Flanagan realizes how nothing may have come to light if it wasn't for his alert worker.
It's unfortunate. She doesn't deserve to even, she doesn't deserve to even be a parent. You know, because there's a lot of people who want to have kids, and she's not, you know, she just obviously doesn't care.
I recently talked to Jessica Mothy's roommate over the phone. She told me that she lived with her for about 6 months, and that she was homeless and that she needed a place to stay, and that Mothy didn't have a car and that she needed help with babysitting. Now, she told me she knew nothing about Mothy being pregnant, and she knew nothing about those babies, those dead babies inside of the home. I reached out to the Armstrong.
I need to find out, how long did she say? She said, what, 6 months? She stayed with a friend for 6 months?
About 6 months of that.
Yes. Oh, she stayed with somebody else for 6 months and didn't pay nothing. That's at least what? So a year, 2 years, 2.5 years of not paying nothing. So all the money that you're making, all the money that you're getting, all the benefits that you're getting, it's like you won't turn around and then take that and just invest in a vehicle. So she didn't have a vehicle either. How about this? How about this? A fucking novel concept. Excuse my language. How about if you're that effing broke, stop having sex? To be honest, I don't think broke people should be having sex. I'll drink to that. I don't think broke people should be having sex. How many of you guys feel me on that? I could even point to my damn self. I shouldn't be out here making babies if I'm broke, right? I would agree with that. So the same fingers I point out there can point back to myself. So I'm never not talking to myself in any of these situations. It applies to who it applies to. Can you dig it? I see you got that nice big AFC. It's like what is that, like a gold or a platinum A right there? Thank you, Evelina, for being a channel member for a very long time. Appreciate that. So I'm just saying. Shoot. 6 months. So you're talking about at least a year that charities were paying her rent, and then she didn't pay rent for another 12 months, and then stayed with somebody else for free for 6 months. That's 2.5 years of not adulting when you have kids.
She was homeless and that she needed a place to stay, and that Mothy didn't have a car and that she needed help with babysitting. Now, she told me she knew nothing about Mothy being pregnant, and she knew nothing about those babies, those dead babies inside of the home. I reached out to the Armstrong County coroner. He tells me that the 4 autopsies are not complete. They are waiting for toxicology reports to come back. Reporting in Armstrong County.
You said it needs to be a new hashtag, a new AFC hashtag. Broke people shouldn't be having sex. Hashtag broke people. No, I don't know how we're gonna say it though. We need to come up with a way to say it. Somebody want to type it in there? Like it needs to be short. Hashtag no sex for brokies. I guess I don't know.
Breaking at 11, new
Something
and
like
shocking information on the deaths of multiple babies in Armstrong County. This new information coming after the discovery of 3 dead infants and the arrest of their mother. KDK's Jennifer Barrasso is in Armstrong County with the breaking details.
Sources tell me there are 4 infants not.
We got hashtag, what is it? Hashtag too broke for sex. Hashtag no money, no honeys. Hashtag no broke sex. Hashtag no money, no sex. Hashtag no poke if broke. Hashtag if you broke, you can't stroke. Hashtag no money, no sex. Hashtag no money, no sex. Which one do I like the best? I don't know. I'm going to let y'all vote on that. I don't know. Here we go. Let's get it.
3 that have been identified. Autopsies were performed yesterday. Now, state police, they are waiting for more information from the medical examiner's office. They will meet, I'm told, tomorrow with the district attorney. Now, they've charged the mom with 1 count of criminal homicide, and I'm told more charges are coming. KDK learned exclusively brand new information. 4 infants found dead, not 3 as initially reported, inside this house on Oak Avenue in Cadogan, Armstrong County. State police say their mother, 39-year-old Jessica Mothy, is charged with criminal homicide. According to the criminal complaint, the landlord broke open the case after a gruesome discovery. He found a trash bag with a dead baby in a closet.
Very sick, very disgusted, sad for the 2 that are left behind.
Elizabeth Jeremy helped the landlord search for 3 days for several cats left behind after Mothy was recently evicted. To know she was so close to those dead babies repulses her.
It was very cluttered. You could not walk through a room without tramping over things. Lots of laundry, lots of food left behind.
She remembers a funny smell upstairs in a bedroom.
And it smelled very funny. It didn't have a very potent smell when we first went in, but upstairs in the one specific bedroom it did smell.
Police discovered 2 plastic totes along with trash bags with newborn babies. Court records lay out Mothy's own words, admitting to giving birth about a year ago to a baby in the toilet. She heard crying, then wrapped the newborn in a towel until the baby stopped making noises. That body was shoved into this closet. She confessed to wrapping 2 more babies and stuffing them into plastic totes into the attic. KDK learned the mom charge has 2 other children, 6 and 8 years old. She grew up in this home, got married, and moved back into the house. I'm told her dad passed away and she assumed the lease. Her husband, according to court records, is incarcerated. A co-worker had been living with her for a short time. This neighbor didn't want to be identified, said her husband, according to court records, is incarcerated. A co-worker, according to court records, is incarcerated. Told her dad passed away and she assumed the lease. Her husband, according to court records, is incarcerated.
How wonderful is that? My husband is incarcerated. But you know, if you pick the type of person that gets incarcerated, that means you chose wrong.
Co-worker had been living with her for a short time. This neighbor didn't want to be identified, said she often watched the boys and fed them.
Giving them structure. They needed structure. They needed love. They needed hugs. If they needed to eat, we fed them. And we did that.
As investigators search for a motive, many wondering about the future of those 2 children.
All I can ask is people to pray for these 2 boys that are living who need the support of friends and family in the community.
State police investigators are going to get search warrants for things like the mother's medical records. They're interviewing friends, co-workers, and her husband, who is behind bars later this week, I'm told. Now, I've talked to someone who worked with her. They say that she was a hard worker. She worked about 50 hours a week, and no one knew she was pregnant. Reporting in Armstrong County, Jennifer Barrasso, KDK TV News.
We have learned more about Jessica Mothy and what investigators say was happening here inside this home where police say 3 deceased babies were found. And the landlord has shared new images with us detailing what he encountered here before finding the first baby. These images inside 139 Oak Avenue show what landlord Brent Flanagan found when he first went inside the home 2 weeks after he had law enforcement seen here evict his tenant, Jessica Mothy. Flanagan says he was clearing this closet when he found a trash bag with a baby's body wrapped inside. He tells me he called police, who, according to court papers, found 2 more deceased babies in the attic in totes. Police say Jessica Mothy admitted to giving birth to all 3. We have learned Mothy was living here in this home with her 2 young children while her husband is in jail. And representatives from nearby Villa Restaurant say she was working there 50 hours a week. Police say Mothy told troopers that she gave birth to the infant found in the closet 1 year ago, but they have not released details on the 2 discovered in the attic. Jessica Mothy remains in the Armstrong County Jail charged with 1 count of criminal homicide and 1 count of abuse of a corpse. Covering Armstrong County in Cadogan Township, Marcy Cipriani, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
I think the hashtag I'ma steal is probably hashtag no money, no honey. Right? I don't know. It just seems like that rhymes really well. But, I know there's usually always somebody out there. People will say to me, they'll say, well, Jay, you don't understand what she was going through, what she was dealing with, or anything like that. So here's the thing. I am no longer concerned about what a person is going through when you make a conscious decision to continue to keep bringing kids into this world. She already had two. I think a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old is what they said, plus 4 more after that. At that point, I can only worry about what's going on with those kids. That's what matters. If you're continuing to keep bringing them into this world, then you have to be held accountable when you are this level of irresponsible, when you continue to, it's like you knew that it was hard enough to raise the 2 that you had, and then you just kept making them. So I don't understand why people who are struggling financially think that the smartest thing to do is to go out and go make more babies. That I just do not understand. So again, I'm speaking to the folks out there that maybe they'll make better decisions and do better than this. These are always cautionary tales for people that are in those positions. Maybe they'll hear this story. Maybe they'll make a different decision in life. And don't continue to just keep putting kids in bad situations. Because if you cannot properly take care of yourself, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're at a dead-end job or whatever the case is, why would you add more humans to that scenario when maybe you need to get yourself stable first? Most of us aren't even in stable relationships. And you know what's funny about this? And shout out to my best friend, Kurt Dog. He actually told me this the other day, but this actually makes sense. We could even set a standard to just simply say, we won't even have any kids. We won't even have any more kids until we get married. Because most of the kids that we're having, I know that they're married in this case, but most of the people who are having kids aren't married. They're at least not even doing that. And just making the situation just even worse. Thank you. You said it, you took the words out of my mouth. This is reckless behavior. That's exactly what it is. So thank you guys for listening to the story. I want y'all to remember there are 2 surviving children. Please keep your prayers up in the chat for them. Share this story. Make it go viral. This is such a disgusting thing. And these type of stories do need to go viral. Otherwise, people don't know about it, okay? So please make sure you guys share, like, and subscribe to the AFC Podcast, okay? Thank you. I've been talking a whole lot about Kelly Marie Bryant, that nasty, despicable story that was out there about the mother who abandoned her kids for 5 years. Well, maybe this might be a case of people who abandon their kids. It's kind of hard to know. This story is unique. I think this type of situation with people in storage rooms is starting to happen more often than maybe a lot of us even know. It's very strange. It's unique at the same time. It's disgusting. And I think these people need a lot of prison time because I just refuse to believe that you can be this dense. Okay? So let me give you guys a disclaimer and then we'll get into the details about what they did. Let's go.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
One of my favorite sources for news. This is coming from Law and Crime. Thank you for the article. So a husband and wife, bookmark that in your mind, a husband and wife have been arrested after they allegedly left their 6 children, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6. Remember, we're talking about accountability, okay? I don't care what they're going through. They made a choice to have 6 children. There can be no purpose of having that many kids if you continue to keep bringing them in this world and you can't afford to take care of them, and you end up in a situation like this. I think that makes you a special level of stupid. And this ain't even a thing about black, white, Mexican, Chinese, just a human thing. A human being would have to know that this has got to be effing stupid. This is a stupid idea, stupid thing to do. And you're going to find out that they actually had more options. And here's the thing. It said, thank you for my honesty. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to keep it real. You can't call this anything but what it is. These people go above and beyond stupid. Okay? And you're about to find out. They allegedly left their 6 children, 4 of whom are under the age of 6 years old, locked in a storage unit with only a bucket to use as a restroom, which you guys saw it right there. Don't look inside the bucket. Just saying. These damn idiots, their names are Charles Dupriest, who's 33 years old, and Isaiah, C as in Charlie, Zielinski, 26 years old. That's the female's name on the left-hand side of my screen right there. Were taken into custody earlier this week and charged with 6 counts each of child neglect, and that's according to law and crime they obtained the court records. Dupriest, the dude, was also charged with 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Wow. A felon in possession of a firearm. I'm not saying that felons don't deserve a second chance and felons don't deserve to have families. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is it's funny how time flies when you're having fun. That's not what I meant. Look, it's funny the fact that when these situations happen, you can look at this situation and say, that wasn't a smart choice. I know they love these thugs, thugs being a characteristic trait, not a skin color. They love these thugs. And these thugs love to continue to keep breaking the rules. And you think that's a suitable parent to have kids by, right? You can't fix stupid. Stupid is as stupid thugs. Ain't that right, Lieutenant Dan? A felon in possession of a firearm. Now, according to a criminal complaint, officers with the Milwaukee Police Department at about 1:33 a.m. on Tuesday responded to a report of a child crying inside a locked storage room. Let me say that again. A locked storage room. So what they did was they put a padlock on the storage room, locked these kids in there. So you know what that sounds like to me? Because I think there was actually somebody trying to claim that they were inside a vehicle and they were nearby. Here's the thing. If you have them locked up and they have no electricity in there, they have no running water, they have no air conditioning, they have no heat, they have nothing except a completely dark storage room all day, every day. What would stop them from driving off and doing whatever they're doing or whatever it is that they want to go do? When you got these human beings who are locked in a room that's literally padlocked. So do I believe that they probably drove off and left them kids there on numerous occasions? Yes, I do. I really do. They pulled up and they were told about a child crying inside of a locked storage room at the store safe in the 5500 block of North 27th Street. The caller told the dispatcher that they were concerned for the welfare of the baby. Upon arriving at the facility, first responders say that they could hear a child still crying inside the storage room, which is Unit B58, which had a garage-style door secured with a padlock. So they locked them in there. Fire department personnel cut the padlock off of the door just to gain entry. Inside, they observed a bucket that contained urine in the middle of the room and 6 children ranging in ages from 2 months old to 9 years old. And I'm just curious, if they had no light in there, how did they know to aim and get everything in the bucket? Just, you had no lights. You couldn't see nothing. Maybe that's just my mind. Detectives later learned that the only visible, and this is why I say that, the only visible light that was available to the children came through a crack of the garage door. A detective entered the unit and observed 6 children sleeping. 5-year-old Ed told the detective, "We're not supposed to be loud." Shortly afterwards, Ed urinated in an orange bucket in the center of the unit. Wow. These children's ages, and I want to brace y'all for this: 9 years old, 7 years old, 5 years old, 3 years old, 2 years old, and 2 months old. If you ask me, not only with this crazy situation, especially, it's hard to say not any of them. Really, all the ages matter. 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, they don't know nothing about taking care of themselves, feeding themselves, cooking, or nothing like that. 2 months old, they wanted these children to die. Police said that they woke the 9-year-old up, who was able to provide the names of his parents, telling the detective that he was responsible for caring for his 5 younger siblings when the adults were away. The 9-year-old reported that he stays at the storage unit about 50% of the time and that they use a bucket to urinate and defecate in. The 9-year-old stated that he is supposed to give the 2-month-old a bottle or a pacifier and pick her up when she cries. The 9-year-old told the detective he was hungry and had no device to contact his parents or anyone else in an emergency. Police say that the smell, the stench from the inside, was so putrid they could not remain inside even with the garage door open. That's how bad it smelled in there. An employee at the facility allegedly told investigators that he remembered in May hearing a male voice inside the unit saying, "Sit down and be quiet," and saw surveillance footage of the children being dropped off at the unit by their parents, which he reported to management. What? Let me read this again, because that person probably needs to be fired. That's just a whole emergency situation. Thank you. An employee noticed that something was wrong, heard something, saw something, and barely said anything. An employee at the facility allegedly told investigators that he remembered in May hearing a male voice. So depending on when if this was this month, May, June, July, August, September, 4 months ago, there should never be a situation where any human being should be inside of a storage room. That alone should have told you, 911. I called my management. I told my boss. What? Are these people that damn stupid? He heard a male voice say, "Sit down and be quiet." If you ask me, in my humble opinion, that employee should be arrested. Any level of common sense would have told you to call 911, right or wrong. That was 4 months ago. What am I missing? He reported it to management. That, man, you just can't have people that damn stupid in this world. Now, authorities at 2:11 a.m. located Dupriest and Zielinski, the mom and dad, sleeping in a Ford Expedition parked in a lot along with their dog. They said parked in the lot. Oh, in the lot with their dog. Officers noted that the middle row of the vehicle was completely unoccupied, while all of the children, including their infant, were all in the storage room. Dupriest and Zielinski said that the family was homeless, but admitted the children could have been staying with other family members. In the forensic interview, the 5-year-old girl victim said she felt sad when locked in the storage unit and mad, so she made the unit dirty. She said she tried to open the door and could not. She reported using a bucket to urinate and defecate in, and sometimes placed a bag inside. She said she was so upset the dog got to sleep in the car while she and her siblings slept in the unit. I want y'all to remember, those are the words of a 5-year-old baby. Those are the words of a 5-year-old baby and a 5-year-old little girl. LD stated her parents went to bed while the children were still awake. She said her father carried a firearm, pointing to her hip. The 9-year-old said his father disciplines them with whoopings, and that after one such whooping, he thought he should go to the hospital. So that's how bad he beat him. Zielinski and Dupriest are currently being held in the Milwaukee County Jail. Their bonds, and y'all are going to laugh at this. How much do y'all think their bonds are? How much of a bond do y'all think they got? I don't think they should have got a bond at all. Y'all want me to tell you how much of a joke Milwaukee is? What's up, American Crime and Vice Stories? What's up? How much do y'all think the bond was? Take a wild guess. So you got a YouTube channel. Salute to you. Thank you for being here. I see you. Thank you. Their bonds, $10,500 and $10,000 respectively. That's a joke. That is an absolute joke. That's how you know Milwaukee is not taking these babies' lives seriously at all. It was not immediately clear when they're scheduled to appear in court. If you ask me, whoever gave them damn bonds needs to be thrown out of the courts. They need to have their licenses revoked. That is just flat out ridiculous. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and I'll show y'all a couple of news videos. Here we go. Let's go.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
And you know why I wear this shirt? Because it says, God protect our babies. You can actually buy this shirt. It is available online. All my links in there in the description box. Y'all do me a favor and please click that thumbs up because these kids need a miracle. A $10,000 bond. Doesn't sound like they're going to take this serious at all. Shout out to Law and Crime. I'm going to show a snippet of this and then we're going to go into the other news videos. Here we go. Let's get it.
This is a really tough story because you're looking at the living conditions that police say 6 children, including a 2-month-old baby, were living in, locked inside a storage unit. Their parents were found asleep inside their car outside the unit, and now they are facing serious charges. Just how much this couple was reportedly getting in Social Security benefits and what the mom had to say for herself in an emotional court hearing. We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. It is not easy to see the images I'm about to show you. Images of a storage unit that police say 6 children, including a baby, were living in for weeks. Police were called to this storage complex around 1:30 in the morning last week, Tuesday, September 16th. Someone had heard the sound of a child crying from one of the units. Now, Milwaukee police said when they opened the door to the storage unit, they found children living in this. And the ages of those children, 9, 7, 5, 3, 2, and a baby just 2 months old. Now, police say this.
And thank you, Yvonne J. I did get your donation in Cash App, so if you're listening, thank you. Just want to shout you out. Appreciate that. Here we go.
Smell was, quote, putrid. And you can see in this picture, there's a sectional couch, a mattress, some blankets, no sheets. Police say the only light was what could creep through the gaps in the door. There was no running water, no electricity, no way to call for help if there was a problem, which just brings me back to thinking of that 2-month-old child. Now, this is the other picture that police have put out of a bucket that was in the middle of that storage unit. And that's what these 6 children were reportedly using to go to the bathroom. Police then started searching for the people who locked these children in the storage unit, a place that's meant to keep belongings safe, not a place for human beings, let alone children, to sleep. And outside, they found a Ford Expedition, and inside of it, sleeping with their dog, police say was the mom and dad to these 6 kids. 33-year-old Charles DePriest and 26-year-old Azia Zielinski. A criminal complaint reviewed by WISN TV. Frankly, it just breaks your heart with what these children have reportedly told investigators. Here's what.
And I'm going to take a pause real quick. Y'all, do me a favor. If you're looking at the screen, watching my video right now, please hit that thumbs up. Close the chat if you need to, but please hit that thumbs up. It'll bring more people in to watch us. So if y'all will help us, that'd be great, okay? So we want to try to get that number of people watching up. I know it's not a lot of people watching, but everybody can help with that. Please hit that thumbs up. Thank you.
It says the 5-year-old told police that the children were told not to be loud when they were in the unit. The 9-year-old said it was his job to take care of his 5 siblings and that he was hungry. He said that his parents drank, and when they were drunk, it was his job to look after everyone. Another child said that she was upset that the dog got to sleep in the car while she and her siblings were locked inside the unit. Prosecutors would later note how much space there was in the car where even a child could have fit in there instead of being allegedly locked in a storage unit. Not that. You can see she was very emotional in that appearance, some strong heart. Now, we found in court records that in 2010, Charles was convicted of 3rd-degree sexual assault in Milwaukee County in Wisconsin, which is north of Milwaukee. Right now, all the children are in the custody of Child Protective Services. DePriest and Zielinski, they are facing those serious charges. And here is part of what the mom's initial court appearance was like per WISN.
We have your children stating that they had no food, that the only food they found was from the garbage.
Now you can see she was very emotional in that appearance. Some strong and frankly honest words from the prosecutor. She and DePriest have said that they were homeless, that they were forced to live in these conditions because they were kicked out of a shelter in Milwaukee. But that shelter is pushing back on those claims. I'll get to that in just a moment. We did find that Zielinski was actually still very much.
So I want y'all to know that they were lying on the shelter. They said, or I'm going to not say lying on the shelter. They were basically, they're lying on the shelter. I'll say that. The shelter is actually going to push back on that, and they're going to say, no, actually, we tried to help them out and tried to get them housing. So just bookmark that for those of y'all who believe that they absolutely had to be in this position. No, they did not.
Active on social media, so she had access to a phone while being homeless. Here's a post that she put up on September 5th, marking that she was 1 month postpartum. Now, it's unclear how long DePriest and Zielinski and those children had been considered homeless. Prosecutors say this couple receives about $2,000 a month in Social Security benefits. The couple also claimed, again, that they were kicked out of a shelter in Milwaukee. But that organization told WTMJ TV that they verified that there was permanent housing secured for this family when they left the shelter. But now they're learning that the family never actually went to that housing. So they are disputing the claim that this family was kicked out of the shelter and the claim that this family had nowhere to go. They also said that there were several families that were helping this family and their kids. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports that DePriest is a registered sex offender and that may have created a barrier for the family to stay in certain shelters.
Jenna Ray now with more details on those deplorable living conditions, despite the family having resources and options from local shelters.
Shocking, and heartbreaking.
The reaction of many when learning 6 kids were found locked inside of a storage unit at StoreSafe on North 27th and Silver Spring. A criminal complaint details someone at StoreSafe heard a baby crying inside a locked unit Tuesday morning around 1:30 and called 911. Police say when they got there, they had to cut open a padlock to get the unit open. Inside, a shocking scene, according to a criminal complaint. A deteriorated couch, a mattress with no sheets, a bucket filled with urine, and 6 kids, ages 2 months old to 9 years old. Detectives say the children told them they'd been sleeping there for months. Their parents, Charles DePriest and Asia Zielinski, were later found sleeping nearby in their car. The kids told police they had minimal food, no water, no electricity, no lights, and had to use a bucket to go to the bathroom. When police talked to the mom, she told them they were homeless and that she struggled to secure housing for years. She says in July, she was kicked out of Joy House, a women and children's shelter in downtown Milwaukee.
They stayed with us for about 2 months in 2023. And then again in June and July for a little over a month this year.
Pat Vanderberg's the president and CEO of Milwaukee Rescue Mission and says they were never kicked out. He says before Zielinski and her kids left in July, Joy House and another organization were able to secure the family permanent housing.
Is this how you're finding out that this family was never made it to the permanent home that you guys had made?
This is how we're finding out. Our assumption in July was that we knew from mom and other sources, we knew that they had lined up permanent housing. Now we're hearing this, and again, mystery to us, how it went sideways.
You guys were providing help.
Yeah, and not only us, even with this family, we know that there are other organizations also helping the family. Some of the situations are just there's so many dynamics that enter in to people that are experiencing crisis.
The kids are now under the care of Child Protective Services. In Milwaukee, Jenna Ray, TMJ4 News.
On to more breaking news at this hour. A very disturbing situation unfolding along Milwaukee's northwest side. Police rescued 6 children, including an infant, from a locked storage unit overnight. That unit just off of 27th and Silver Spring. 12 News' Hannah Hilliard breaks down what we know at this hour.
In the middle of the night, our camera spotting police near 27th and Silver Spring for a report of children locked in a self-storage facility. The urgent call for help coming in just after 1:30 a.m.
Police are on scene requesting a forced entry. They believe baby is locked in one of the storage lockers.
But it wasn't just one baby.
Update from the police. They believe there's 2 children locked inside the locker.
Or 2 inside the locked storage unit. Instead, Milwaukee police say they found 6 children, ages 9, 7, 5, 3, 2, and a 2-month-old, all of them alone.
I came here around 10, maybe before 11, just to check my unit.
Donnie Earl did not want to be on camera Tuesday, but says he didn't notice anything out of the ordinary when he checked on his belongings Monday night, but is disturbed by this discovery.
Confused. I don't even know how to respond to it. Why would anyone keep, did you say 6 kids in a storage unit? To me, it sounds a cry for help, maybe. Or maybe just needed help.
Police say they have 2 adults in custody, a man and a woman. A police arrest log shows the 2 were arrested early Tuesday morning at the storage facility. Police will not confirm the adults' relationship to the children.
Hannah Hilliard is joining us live tonight. Hannah, very disturbing details here. What is the storage facility owner saying in response to this?
So, Deanna, I've tried calling, emailing, as well as walking into Store Safe to try and connect with a supervisor here at the location at 27th and Silver Spring, but my answers, they've gone unanswered. All those messages I've left, as well as we've only seen maintenance workers here on site. So right now it remains unclear exactly how police were tipped off to the situation in one of these storage units. Police say when they arrived here on scene early this morning, none of the children were injured at the time, and right now tonight they are in custody of Child Protective Services.
All right, Hannah, we're still waiting to see that relationship from that man and woman who are in custody. Hannah Hilliard, live in Milwaukee tonight.
Breaking news as we come on the air here at 11 o'clock. 6 children rescued from a locked storage unit on the city's north side overnight. Police and fire rushed to the Store Safe of Silver Springs near 27th and Silver Spring after a welfare call. That's where Zoe Henry joins us from right now. Zoe, 2 adults have been arrested.
Yeah, Jaron, that's right. And police are still on scene this morning. We actually saw a forensics truck pull in here and through the gate back this way. It's actually locked. That's why we're on the outside here. But they tell 12 News they're investigating this as a possible child abuse or neglect. Officers were initially called here to Store Safe at 27th and Silver Spring around 1:30 this morning for a welfare check.
Police are on scene requesting a forced entry. They believe a baby is locked in one of the storage lockers.
Inside that locked unit, police say they found 6 children ranging from 2 months old to 9 years old, and no adults were with them at the time. A 26-year-old and 33-year-old are now in custody. The district attorney's office is reviewing charges.
Let me take a pause real quick. Let me say what's up to Shay and say hello to Shay in the chat. Thank you for being here. Lasagna Lemonade Logic, I want to say big shout out and thank you to you for gifting a channel membership. And that channel membership, it goes randomly, and it went to True Blue. So True Blue, if you will, do me a favor and just, oh, you already did. Thank Lasagna Lemonade for your channel membership. It's good for 30 days. All we ask for you guys to do is when it ends, it expires, just renew it for 1 more month, even at the lower tier, but just renew it at least 1 time. But thank you, Lasagna Lemonade, for showing some love. If you guys want to donate, that's another way to do it. Or you guys can just hit that thumbs up, because we're real behind on the thumbs up. We're trying to get to at least 300. So if we can get there, everybody who's watching, please hit that thumbs up, okay? On this video. Here we go.
You know, what's your reaction?
Confused. I don't even know how to respond to it. Why would anyone keep, did you say 6 kids in a storage unit? To me, it sounds a cry for help, maybe. Or maybe just needed help and didn't know how to get it. They should be arrested. I would arrest them if I was the police.
Zoe, do we know the condition of those 6 children?
Milwaukee police say that none of the kids were hurt or are hurt at this time. We're still working to learn how the children and the 2 adults are connected and how all this happened in the first place.
All right, 12 News' Zoe Henry live for us this morning in Milwaukee. Zoe, thank you.
Jenna Ray now with more details on those deplorable living conditions, despite the family having resources and options from local shelters.
Shocking, and heartbreaking.
The reaction of many when learning 6 kids were found locked inside of a storage unit at Store Safe on North 27th and Silver Spring. A criminal complaint details someone at Store Safe heard a baby crying inside a locked unit Tuesday morning around 1:30 and called 911. Police say when they got there, they had to cut open a padlock to get the unit open. Inside, a shocking scene, according to a criminal complaint. A deteriorated couch, a mattress with no sheets, a bucket filled with urine, and 6 kids, ages 2 months old to 9 years old. Detectives say the children told them they'd been sleeping there for months. Their parents, Charles Dupriest and Asia Zielinski, were later found sleeping nearby in their car. The kids told police they had minimal food, no water, no electricity, no lights, and had to use a bucket to go to the bathroom. When police talked to the mom, she told them they were homeless and that she struggled to secure housing for years. She says in July, she was kicked out of Joy House, a women and children's shelter in downtown Milwaukee.
They stayed with us for about 2 months in 2023. and then again in June and July for a little over a month this year.
Pat Vanderberg's the president and CEO of Milwaukee Rescue Mission and says they were never kicked out. He says before Zelensky and her kids left in July, Joy House and another organization were able to secure the family permanent housing.
Is this how you're finding out that this family was never made it to the permanent home that you guys had made?
This is how we're finding out. Our assumption in July was that we knew from mom and other sources, we knew that they had lined up permanent housing. Now we're hearing this, and again, mystery to us. How.
Want y'all to catch that. They had them lined up for permanent housing. Now, I've actually watched people in real life that have mishandled the permanent housing that people have tried to help them with. So I've seen that happen. People do it. People are that level of stupid. But when folks are trying to help you out and then you screw up, like they say, what, fumble the bag? You fumble the bag, is that how they say it? You fumbled the help. You bit the hand that fed you. They were helping y'all, and you still found a way to screw it up.
How it went sideways.
You guys were providing help.
Yeah, and not only us, even with this family, we know that there are other organizations also helping the family. Some of the situations are just there's so many dynamics that enter in to people that are experiencing crisis.
The kids are now under the care of Child Protective Services.
So somebody asked, were the parents on site? It's hard to say because it seemed like they didn't give a direct answer about that. They said they were in a lot, quote unquote, a lot, L-O-T. And so that's how they found them. They were in a lot. So I don't know if they were in the same lot or somewhere nearby or caught them somewhere else. They really didn't specify. But again, for a situation like this, and it doesn't seem like they're taking it real serious, especially with the bail situation, people like this should not be parents. You can't fix this level of stupid. This level of God, I want to say it so bad, but I feel like my channel's going to get demonetized. These people are slow as hell, and you cannot continue to keep having slow people make babies. I said it. So if you want to get mad at me, then it is what it is. But I don't feel sorry for these people. I feel sorry for the babies. That's all I'm saying. So, yes, they actually said that it was their responsibility. The kids say, the 9-year-old said it was my responsibility to take care of his younger siblings because his parents decided to go get drunk and they locked them in the storage room. So they was like, okay, well, I got to take care of y'all. I wonder how much taking care of somebody you can do in the pitch dark. It's just the whole thing is weird. And I just think people like this, not only they should never, ever get an opportunity to see these kids again or be parents, I think that they should probably get about 20 to 25 years in prison. That's the only thing that would help. It's just more time away from society. And by the time they get out, maybe they'll be feeble enough. Maybe they shouldn't have reproductive organs. Hashtag TTO and TTT. They should not have ovaries and they should not have testicles. These are the type of people that should be chemically castrated. So in some states, that's a law. Maybe we need to start bringing that to situations like this. These people should not have reproductive organs. Okay, but thank you guys so much for listening to this story. We'll bring you an update probably whenever we do the final sentencing, and then we'll go from there. Okay, thank you. I refuse to once. It's just mind-boggling to me, and I'm thinking, and y'all let them get away with that. I mean, did the person, like, I don't know what would make a person think you hear a child's voice, a male boy voice, and then you just like, well, I'm going to just go tell management. But did you really go tell management? Because management should have told you, if you truly did that, that you need to call 911. And I'm sure that baby was crying, and you had a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old. I'm sure they were crying too. Hell, you actually heard that they said that the 5-year-old was throwing tantrums and tearing up that little bit of space in there because she was mad. Somebody heard that. They didn't care.